Hello and welcome to the latest installment of Tones of the Hammer. This week we are here with another sick band. We had Lost Faculty on a few weeks ago, and these guys reached out and we really wanted to come on and get to know them, hear all about the music and what they've got coming up. So everybody, welcome the fabulous Rexford Drive.
Hello.
Great to be here.
How's it going, fellas? Thank you so much for coming down.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I always love it, when this is the first time meeting, because I think it's just a great way to get to know, you guys.
100%.
So,
because we came in not really knowing what to expect coming here.
exactly,
crazy.
I know, man. You're just coming into the lion's den, right? And you never know what's going to happen. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great space here. It's
Good,
really cool.
Yeah. Here at Halo, this is where we host Tones of the Hammer Halo Studios in downtown Hamilton, of course. And so, fellas, for me and anybody that's watching or listening back home, why don't you tell us a bit about Rexford Drive? What are you guys all about? Where did you start? What's your influences? Where did it all come from?
You want the short version or the long version?
We've got all the time in the world. Take the long version.
Okay, because they're both long.
Okay,
yeah, there's a lot to say. It's,
I friggin' knew it.
So we've been a band for over 10 years now, actually.
Yeah. And how old are you guys?
I'm 22.
I'm 24.
Wow, since you were 12 and 14, man.
Yeah, so we grew up on
even more than that, 11 and 13.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sick.
So,
Oh, wow, yeah, you're right.
literally, we're actually looking at 11 years now.
Time just
Crazy,
flies by,
man.
mate.
Yeah. So we all grew
Crazy.
up on a street called Rexford Drive.
I love it.
And so, Pat lived a few doors down from me.
Nice.
And our drummer TJ lived just around the corner. And we were all friends before we actually played, all got into our instruments.
Yeah.
And we just happened to all take to instruments coincidentally.
I got you.
And then, we played our first show. It was our talent show. So I was in 5th grade. They would have been 7th.
7th grade, yeah.
And then we did a nice little Smoke on the Water, Sweet Child of Mine
The
medley.
classic, right?
But only the chorus. Smoke on the Water, right?
Yes, and
It's we built to the chorus. That was it.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the. Actually, that's fair. I feel like it's one of those verses that's kind of been lost to the decades of time. Really, Smoke on the Water.
I didn't even know it then. I
Yeah,
didn't bother
exactly.
learning it. We just.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually, I think the verses are probably the best part of the song. To be quite honest,
They're
with you, actually.
great. They're great,
honestly.
Shit,
that was
right?
one of the first songs I learned front to back.
Yeah, man.
Because I already knew the riff.
It's the classic, right? Smoke on the Water riff, of course.
Can't go wrong. Will it be purple?
And I still can't really get the solo right.
I know, man. I know. They're
But-
talented fellas, man. Talented fellas.
But anyways, so yeah, we did that, and then when we got to high school, we played a little bit, and then when we got to high school, we kind of stopped playing because I was still in elementary school. They were in
Yeah.
high school, and then when I entered 9th grade, we had a new music teacher. And our school basically had think of a glee club, basically.
Okay, yeah.
And he had asked me, it was concert band, first
Yeah.
day of grade 9. I was
Yeah.
playing bass in the concert band. And he asked me if I wanted to play bass for this glee club thing.
Gotcha.
And I'm in, 9th grade, very not wanting to be in the glee club as a 9th grade boy. And so... but the inside, I really wanted to.
Yeah.
But I was really nervous. And then I hadn't seen our drummer TJ in a little while. And
He just disappeared off the face of the earth.
no, it's just we wouldn't
Different hallways,
yeah.
The grade 9s are over here.
I thought it was going to
he was 9 or minor 9 or we,
I
don't
thought it was
associate.
going on a grade 9 rock and roll bender or something like that.
yeah. I mean, maybe.
Too much Coca-Cola or
Yeah,
something like
There you
exactly.
go. And Mountain Dew.
I'm thinking about joining this thing, but I don't really want to. I do want to do it, but I'm nervous. And I run into TJ just walking his dog past my house.
Okay.
Just happens to that
On
day.
Rexford Drive.
Yeah.
Rexford Drive, exactly.
Exactly.
Cool,
And
man.
so
Love it.
I talked to him and I'm like, hey man, he's asked me to do this, you should ask if you can be the drummer so that we can do this together. I don't want to do this alone. Please ask to be the drummer. And he was all into it.
TJ's always down to play.
TJ's always down to play, so he was not
That's what you want out of a band, though.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I show up, I say yes, and I show up to the first rehearsal thing, whatever. And then Pat's there as well. So Pat and TJ have been best friends, inseparable.
We were locker partners that year.
Nah,
Yeah.
I gotcha,
So Pat
yeah.
caught wind of this, and
He comes to me and is like, "Oh, the band," and I'm like, "Okay, I could help with that."
And so
Sick.
Pat comes in, he's on auxiliary everything. So he's the guy who like plays the trumpet.
I don't play guitar.
Yeah.
He would like play trumpet, play like the auxiliary
Yeah.
perks and stuff. So
Jump on the synth.
so he just
Hit
did all
the
that stuff.
Viber slap, the
Ah,
whatever.
gotcha. Yes, sick.
Yeah, and so we started playing together again from that, and there was like a performance thing coming up at our school, like a talent show basically, and so we decide we played a couple covers, and I think afterwards.
one was the Last Shadow Puppets.
Yeah.
Speaking of Arctic Monkeys,
Speaking of Arctic Monkeys, we were just talking about before.
Yeah. It always comes up it's because of all you local indie bands. You're all into your indie rock music.
we
for
love
sure.
our Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah.
They were the first indie rock band I like. Deep
Yeah,
dived into,
man.
sorry,
Yeah.
deep dived into.
Totally.
That's
Yeah.
my gateway drug for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we played that, and afterwards we're like, this is not the band getting back together. or
Yeah, he said that
anything.
exactly. I'll
I
never
did say
forget.
that.
This is not the band getting back together. I'm like, okay, whatever you say, George.
And so the
Whatever you
year,
say.
and then we were still playing together. And the year after that, there was like a Battle of the Bands
Gotcha.
show in Hamilton, and the prize was to get to play Supercrawl.
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
That's
and
a big old gig, man,
yeah,
for like
and
school
so-
kids, right?
That was a big one. And so it just happened to coincide with like a couple months earlier. We'd wrote our first like original song.
Oh, nice.
And so that came up, and we're like, we should do it. So we
Yeah.
signed up. It was like we had a couple months out, and that kind of lit a fire under our asses. We're like, okay,
We
like,
should do
because
this.
it's a set, like you had to play a
Yeah.
couple songs. And so we wrote a couple more songs.
Great stuff, man.
And then, so we ended up like having some originals, and then we won and got to play Supercrawl. And then we're kind of like, I guess we're doing this now.
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
man.
One thing you missed, just a minor detail, but
I love it. I love it. This happens every time
the
we get a band
minor-
that the secrets come out.
no,
all
it's
the
a very
time.
forgettable
Oh, good,
detail
good,
though.
good.
Our bassist Rocco,
Oh, yeah, Rocco.
yeah, he exists.
Yeah.
He also was playing in the in Ambition, like the Glee club.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But it was cool.
Oh,
But he
yes.
was
we have to say
playing
how
too.
Rocco became a part of the story.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I knew Rocco.
We were a baseless band when I was in
Okay.
grade 9.
Okay.
when TJ and I were in grade 9, we had music class with him, so he was
Gotcha.
on the flute then.
Yeah.
He was ripping the flute. I'm a trumpet and TJ,
Heck
of course.
yeah.
Slapping the skins, you know.
Could add flute instead of bass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just playing Piper. or whatever.
Yeah, totally. It's sick.
And then so I always knew him, and basically he was asked to join that.
Right, I got you.
And then so it ended up working out. We asked him to join
sick.
the band.
And then
yeah.
Rexford
and
Drive.
then Rexford
yeah.
Drive was what came to be. And a funny thing about the name too,
Yeah.
I'll say, our first show, we're like, oh, what's our name? Like, I don't know. And they made a joke, like, oh, like Rexford Drive or something. But we hadn't decided.
It's friggin' dope, man.
And
it
I'm just
sounds
like-
like killer. I love that name. Actually.
You like it?
Yeah, I love it. Do you not like it?
I mean, I've like come to
You
terms
sound
with
like
it.
you're not convinced with it there, mate.
No, I mean, I think you know what it is because
What?
from Hamilton,
Yeah.
I get a lot of like the Arkells.
Yeah. And that's how it started, kind of.
Yeah.
We did kind of joke about that,
And it was never agreed on, but we
Yeah.
went on stage and I'm like, we're Rexford Drive, and everybody's kind of like,
and we're like,
Yeah.
oh,
cool, yeah.
We're like, we didn't.
Yeah.
Well, it's too late now, I guess.
I think that's sick. I think that really like solidifies you all together as a band as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's a pretty like neat story. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you know when
Sometimes-
you're like collecting Junos in a few years, man, that's gonna be all the range. You know, to tell everybody that story.
it is a great.
Yeah.
That's our PR story.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the-
And you see, that's your chat. That's your opening chat there. It's just, it's just take, you just started it off. So, how do we go from Glee Club, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do we go from Glee Club into a rock band, into an indie band? Because I can't imagine like you guys got together and were like making High School Musical 5 or whatever, right?
Yeah. So you can think of it then like it was a choir.
I got you.
So they were playing like it was choir arrangements of like pop
Yeah,
songs
yeah,
and like
yeah.
radio songs. So it got us pretty good, like
Yeah.
because we
Good
had
way
to learn all these arrangements.
harmonies and arrangements.
Yeah.
everything from like Mumford and Sons to like,
To like
what's the most popular thing we
Diplo.
played?
Yeah, like and we had a bass drums guitar.
And then the leader was on the keys.
Yeah, like our
Yeah.
teacher. And so like we had to arrange all this stuff, and he was our teacher, Mr. Curto, who really like empowered us to like do like our own thing. He always kind of pushed us.
Yeah.
And so he'd be like, here's the song, like kind of like figure it out. Like these are the
Gotcha.
chords.
Yeah, just pushing you to.
He'd also say, "You guys should be a real band."
He'd
Say that.
he'd always say that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
So where did like the what influences your guys' music these days then? Where like I noticed I know there's doing a deep dive on you guys. There's a lot of like Smiths and stuff. Even a Franz Ferdinand cover. As soon as I listened to your guys' music, I thought Franz Ferdinand.
No way.
I did, honestly, straight up. And I was like, what it was? I was like sat listening to your tune, your latest single, which is called
Seasons Change.
Okay.
Sorry, that was the
Main
working
Focus.
It was okay.
Because it was our main focus.
I got you.
Yeah.
We'll get into that single a little bit later. But honestly, I was listening to it and I was like, man, what is this band that it sounds like? It sounds like this, and it was the vocals more than anything.
Thanks,
It
yeah.
was. And then I was looking at your Insta, and then I saw that you did a cover of
Take Me Out.
Take Me Out.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
I was-
sick song.
And I was like, oh shit, it's Franz Ferdinand. Yeah, but it sounds fucking so. But where I could be totally wrong on that. You could all be like Dolly Parton fans or something. Like that.
No, I mean the Smiths we all really liked the Smiths. I don't know.
It's the Beatles.
Yeah.
These guys fight me every time I say Weezer.
Okay.
But they regardless, I always say like we're like Weezer, like a Smiths mixed with Weezer.
Yeah,
the
that's
Smiths
good.
mixed with Weezer. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I guess to like answer the question about like when we became a band, I don't know. It kind of just happened. It was
Yeah.
like one thing led to another, and then I guess we're doing this now. And
Yeah.
Then I guess we have original songs, so
Yeah.
we should probably start playing shows. And we always really liked playing shows.
Gotcha.
And
And Supercrawl was huge too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
that was
imagine.
very-
That's quite.
That was the most people we'd ever played for, and
Yeah.
that was really good for exposure and stuff like that. And
Totally.
then actually Bandicoot. So if you remember,
yeah, the guys mentioned
yeah.
last time. Yeah.
yeah,
Bandicoot.
local
Yeah.
icons,
Yeah.
local iconic band. But
But there seems to be a great scene around, like for indie bands. It's
Yeah.
it's very tight knit.
yeah, tight knit. Like we literally we already liked Bandicoot's music,
Yeah.
and we DM'd them saying like, "Hey, you guys got any shows coming up?" He said, "Yeah, we've got this show. Do you guys want to open?"
No,
We're like, "Oh, sick!" So that was our first bar show.
Yeah,
back
nice.
in the old This Ain't Hollywood.
Gotcha.
Rest
Yeah,
in
well,
peace.
this studio used to be above this in Hollywood, like probably when you guys played. To be
Really?
fair,
Wow.
that's when it
Cool.
was open. Yeah, this is where we were upstairs. Well, I wasn't, but
Yeah.
the studio was. But yeah, that's sick, man. But yeah, that's quite the apprenticeship to do like a friggin' Supercrawl show. It's like. I saw
Yeah.
a lot of, and was that like main stage vibes or?
Yeah,
like
you
even
know,
the other stage?
have you been to? You've been.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
the one on Dr. Disc, the stage that's
Yes,
there.
yeah.
that stage.
Oh,
Which I don't
He
know
said
if they had
this
it
year,
this year.
they didn't have
Yeah,
it. And
it's
even
a
the
bit
past year was a
different.
smaller stage
Yeah.
too. This was like, it was a big stage in the middle, but it was good.
Yeah,
It didn't feel like being tucked in at a small stage or anything like
Gotcha.
that. Like,
And they put
it
us like
was
6
major.
o'clock on Friday.
Yeah,
Like, so it was a nice
man,
time
that's
slot.
a good time. Man.
Yeah.
Got to enjoy the rest
Everybody's
of the night,
finished
too.
work and ready to just start raving, and just like,
Yeah, it was cool. Like a lot of people came out, and yeah, it also no one ever asks how you played Supercrawl.
Yeah,
They
I
just see that you
know,
did,
yeah.
and so
Yeah.
it's great to put on the resume.
Hey, man, that's what it's all about. Carpe diem and all that shit.
Yeah,
you know?
There you go.
Exactly.
Just go with
Yeah.
the flow.
exactly.
Yeah, 100%. So we've got vocals, no guitar or anything, right?
No, I just sing. I mean, I can do other things.
Yeah,
He's a great-
We can do
Sometimes
other
I
things.
rip the trumpet.
Are you listening, ladies? You can
Or the
do other
keys.
things. And your
I'm a man of many talents.
Tickle
I
the
got
ivory.
you. I got you. And your guitar.
Yeah, I play
as well.
guitar.
Nice. So who's personal influences then? Who's guitar heroes?
My guitar
A
heroes.
fellow guitarist here is asking me,
Um,
so I'm interested.
So I think when I first started, it's like pretty like your usual suspects.
Yeah.
So I loved like I think my big one. And still, even though it's like I don't listen to him all the time, like Jimmy Page, like just
Heck
like
yeah.
I love how it's messy but clean.
Yeah,
Not
exactly,
clean. It's actually not
right.
clean at all, but
Nah.
it's just like it always sounds like he's about to mess up.
Oh yeah, totally.
Which is amazing.
He probably is just messing up the whole way through.
Well, he kinda
He's
is
just-
sometimes.
But he just
It kinda
created-
makes it cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like he's like messing up in time.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And making it just sound dirty, so it's just like, fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Same thing
that
with like Alex Lifeson too. I always hear like,
Yeah,
it's like he did not
yeah.
mean to do that.
yeah, totally.
I guess so that was a big one for me, and then kind of getting a little more into like other bands, like Arctic Monkeys was my first band that I like loved.
I got
Like
you,
every
yeah.
band, every lyric, every song, every album type of thing.
And so what I'm always interested is like an Arctic Monkeys homeboy. How which album did you start on?
Definitely AM was my first one because when I heard Do I Want to Know on the radio, and then I heard Are You Mine, which was way better.
Yeah,
and I heard Are You Mine, and that was my favorite song. I still hear it all the time. Actually, funny enough,
listen to it all the time.
Funny enough, we're like learning that to do a cover because we have like a show. We have to play a bunch of covers coming up, and so like I was like playing it today for the first time in a while, like remembering how to do it, and I was like, this is fucking great.
Yeah,
so fun.
It's just like guitar fun as well. You
know?
Oh
yeah, it's
just
like a big
all
fuzzy
fun,
riffs.
to be fair. Yeah, exactly.
And then
I think you're missing a band though.
Oh yeah, well maybe
Bon Jovi.
Oh yes,
okay.
That's true.
That's interesting. Okay.
So I wasn't really into like shred like that, but like Pat and I, when we were like really young now. So I probably was just starting to play guitar. I was probably like 4th grade, and Pat would have been in 6th grade. And we used to have. I really loved Bon Jovi.
Mm-hmm.
Like, loved. We used to have competitions to see who would know. Because he also did.
Songs, yeah.
And then I went to go see Bon Jovi as my first ever concert. I was like a surprise for my birthday.
Sick.
And I went, and it was a big stadium thing. And it was all women, of like 45-year-old women. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? I had no idea. It was a girls band. As TJ's dad, TJ's dad said, "You like Bon Jovi?"
Yeah,
like, that's a girls band.
Like, no, they're one of the rock greats.
Yeah,
like we had them up there with Led Zeppelin and all these guys thinking they were like one of the best.
It's maybe not quite as edgy as Zeppelin, you know. It's probably not.
Not quite.
So I guess it probably was a bit formative. I knew like a lot of Bon Jovi riffs.
Yeah,
like I learned like Wanted Dead or Alive pretty early.
Man, yeah, there's some great Bon Jovi songs. Man, you know? And I think for me anyway, they're one of those bands where like you forget how many great tunes they've got as well, man.
Oh, sometimes I still put them on. Yeah. I didn't listen to them at all for like years, and I finally came back to them every now and then. I'll be like, great song.
Because it's so easy with a lot of those bands. It's kind of easy to just like put it aside and kind of put it all into one basket and be like, that's the old days. Like I'm.
Totally.
Hair metal.
Yeah, hair metal, exactly.
Heck, man, yeah. There's great music in like every kind of genre is what I love, you know. It's like I'm just like shamelessly just Johnny Cash is my hero, right? And I just it's just the badassest guy ever, you know what I mean? And so many there's so much cool stuff around, there is for sure, guys. So we transitioned from high school band. So on Tones of the Hammer, we like to talk about a little bit of Hamilton's music scene. As we were just chatting before we started rolling, I've been here like a year, so I'm still kind of getting used to the vibe of Hamilton. So as a young band that's like, it's got a bit of a fan base rolling and stuff, how's your experience been like playing around Hamilton and stuff?
It's so great. So great. Yeah. People of Hamilton are great. The bands are great. It's a tight knit community. It's small, it's tight knit. It's growing.
And that's what I mean amongst kind of like you guys, indie bands and all that. There seems to like you all know each other, and there's seems to be this great support for like going out to each other's shows. Helping 100%. Out, right?
Well, one thing we've noticed is like because we came in, I had our first show right before COVID. COVID happened, and then like our first bar show. Yeah, and I guess during COVID, like. It just emptied, right?
A bunch of older bands kind of just stopped.
Yeah.
Like the
playing,
generation above us kind of thing.
I got you. Yeah.
Like I guess you'd say a lot of like the millennial bands. They kind of stopped because they were getting to like their mid-20s when COVID started.
Yeah.
And then
it's not that old.
I know. But like
I'm 28.
Yeah.
Go easy.
But there's like this but like then we came in because like I was still. I became of age during COVID.
I got you.
So like there was it was like, a bunch of bands kind of like just were gone. Like a lot of the older bands, I think, were gone.
Yeah.
Older, like relatively speaking.
Yeah, because like, I imagine like, I think what's probably so cool about your guys is, and the age, you've got kind of got that university kind of fan base available, I guess, it's kind of your guys' age or buds from uni, and people who are looking to go out, party, have a good time sort of thing, right? So... Yeah, is there a lot of like shows to do with McMaster and stuff like that?
There are sometimes. It's like we were telling you before, like there's a cool show that happens now that like Lost Faculty you had on played a couple weeks ago. We've played like a lot. Like we played like 4 or 5 now over the last like 2 years. But those are like campus. So they're not on campus. So they're not McMaster events.
They're for students.
But they're run by students make it and run it, and it's
which is great to see, man. You know, that's it's how, and it's a good, you know, it's a good way for you guys to have like a fun old like show when it's, you know, it's like, even if it's not just buddies, but just like, you know, people that you know from like, you know, uni and stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%. Cool. I think like there's a lot of friend groups that have like been kept together because they'll all come to shows, you know. All these different people from university, high school, like everywhere
totally,
that have stayed together because shows are where they'll meet
and
that sort of thing.
Totally.
But us, even aside from Thirsty Thursdays, which is such a sick event, we're playing next Thursday. Super excited for that. But we played Mac Coco.
Okay,
that was a really cool show. No flipped cars this year, so it's always a good sign. Actually, you haven't been in Hamilton that long. Do you know
I've
about
not
that?
heard about this.
So, are you familiar with like homecoming culture?
Homecoming, like
okay. Quick.
Whoa, this is a total culture. This is going to be a culture clash.
This is some North American culture. So, universities have basically when their football team, American football team.
Yeah. I'm just kidding.
There's an ejector seat sat right there. You know.
I gotta read the room. 2 English guys.
Don't you worry.
So. So homecoming is like when your football team plays their first home game of the season, which usually starts at the beginning of the school year. There's usually like a lot of parties. It's like a big game, and then it's kind of, at least in Ontario, like there's not a lot that happens. Like a lot of times people don't actually go to the game, but it becomes a big street party.
Oh,
like an informal street party that the city of Hamilton really does not like.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. You'd never do that. We'd never be able to do that back in the UK. Probably.
I think they would.
That's the thing is, what
it would be called
do?
hooliganism.
Yeah.
Hooliganism.
There's probably a lot more fighting in the UK. If that happened, there'd be fighting.
It is very tame, actually, fighting wise. It's not a lot of bad stuff happens like that, but it's just.
That's what happened. It was someone left their car parked there.
Oh man, can you imagine?
They were like away for the weekend, and they flipped the car, and people were so mad. But then next year, it all they had a party again. You know, it's like you can't stop them. You know.
Yeah,
but like
totally.
So because of that, there was all this like controversy in Hamilton about like this happening, and like the McMaster kind of was like the one at the footed the blame for it.
I gotcha.
And so
they don't have anything on campus.
Yeah.
So people are finding their own fun, right?
I gotcha.
And it is fun. I will say.
Yeah, so there's all this controversy around that, and people were saying like, well, you guys don't do anything for your students on campus, so of course they're going to do this. And so I'll hand it to them. They decided this year that just passed to like really put a lot of money into like doing stuff on campus.
Good.
One of those things being having like bands and stuff, like tailgating. And so we got called to do that, which was really cool.
Nice.
And so that was cool too, because they had. Have you ever seen those Red Bull stage trucks?
Yes.
They had one of those, which
sick.
was super cool.
Yeah.
They have like a proper green room in there with a little couch.
They're
and
pretty
mini
fancy
fridge.
things, right? I've seen the videos. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had one of those, and we got to play at that, and it was a great time. And then, it was awesome. So there's a cool band scene coming back. I find there's a lot of like young bands. Playing
I was
going
to say, because even I know, we were just joking about it a second ago, but like even being in your late 20s, it's very different to being in your early 20s, you know. And it's so interesting to see like that whole like say university culture or whatever kind of getting together and seeing, because maybe like 10 years ago when I was in university, it's like you kind of had it, but the world's changed so much in 10 years, right? And I thought just a lot of time people are into friggin' just clubbing and shit these days,
it's also sick. Like I think a lot of people don't realize that like live music.
Exactly.
Like
that's
never been.
That is a really good point. I think a lot of people like put off. I don't want to see a band because they don't think about it. But it's like it's a fucking good night.
I think a lot of the time they're seeing like. They go to a bar and it's like, some drunk old guys like playing music, which sometimes is the best. Sometimes it's like,
sometimes those guys are the best guys you ever hear.
And it's just
like old guys are just amazing.
They're not playing songs that they know. They don't know all these like, probably playing like Johnny Cash and all sorts of stuff. But people don't know them, so they don't realize that.
Totally.
Live music. And also people don't go out as often anymore.
That's the thing. I mean, we've had this conversation a few times on Tones of the Hammer where it's like even like Man, even I think people in their 20s, it's hard to afford to go out to do anything, right? It's God, even one night out is $100 if you're a drinker, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, and then put a gig ticket on top of that as well, it's like, turns into an expensive night or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
Someone needs to buy a $6 flask.
Heck yeah. Georgie knows the way.
Not our own shows, though. I never do that at our own show.
Okay, you see.
Never.
Disclaimer. Yeah.
At our shows, we never do that. I said it in like a coy way. That's actually true.
Yeah, I know.
There's like 2 venues in this city, okay?
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, we can change that.
Yeah.
My parents were saying to me the other day, like, they called me on a Friday and I wasn't doing anything. Like, why aren't you go out or something?
Called you a loser.
I'm like, and I'm somebody, I'm not a homebody.
Yeah,
like, I'm always out doing something. And
Yeah.
I decided to spend a Friday in. She's like, Patrick, when we were your age, there was something to do. You just go out. Like, it didn't matter where. You just go to a bar on a Friday and a Saturday. Like, every Friday and Saturday. Always something to do, always somewhere to go. Yeah. But it's like, it was affordable. And that's back when houses cost.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's when you could buy a house for nothing, and afford to go out on top of that, right?
Exactly.
What are you doing here, Pat? Like, go do some drugs or something. Don't be a loser.
That's a true rock and roll parent. There,
rock and roll lifestyle.
You're destined to get a Juno one day. Just like, totally.
We're suburban indie boys. Mom.
Yeah.
You don't get it.
Yeah, that's it. I love it. And so, as suburban indie boys, then how that's gonna be your Apple. It's gonna be like your Spotify music category.
Yeah.
Suburban indie.
Yeah. So, how do you guys get together to write songs then? What's the process? Is it like somebody comes with like a lyric idea, or somebody comes with a riff and they're like, "This is sick. See what happens."
So usually, I'll usually bring to the band like a very bare bones, like acoustic and a vocal type of thing.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like a very shitty voice demo, like voice memo demo of it. Usually with like some mistakes.
There's some
and
raw
things.
to that.
Yeah.
Voice memo's underrated.
Totally.
Yeah, the voice memos sound great. I don't know, they compress in a nice way. But anyways, I digress. And then we'll kind of, it all like, if people are like into it kind of thing, we'll like bring it to our next practice and kind of hash it out.
Yeah.
It'll be like,
We just gotta run through it first too.
Yeah, we'll just be like,
jam it.
I might like, ahead of time, like kind of like text the chords type of thing. And then, we'll just kind of jam it. And then usually it like, sometimes it like happens the way it like, sometimes it like just happens and it works out. But other times it completely like changes in great ways like that. Our latest single, Seasons Change, sounds completely different. Because I remember if you read the voice memo that I eventually sent to the chat, it says main focus, as in like this is our main focus, which is why I said that earlier.
For the next practice, we're gonna focus on this.
Right. Yeah.
And then in brackets, I go, maybe it don't look back in anger feel.
It's not that.
And it's not that at all.
But that's the magic, right? That's the magic of getting in a rehearsal space together and working as a band and just seeing what happens.
Exactly.
Right?
Especially because we all come from like kind of different. We all take different approaches to it too. I think.
I was going to say, is it like, so there's not like one lyric writer and one like guitar part writer sort of thing. It's like, it's a mixture of everything, is it?
Yeah, usually,
George
I guess,
mostly handles the lyrics.
Yeah, because usually, I guess
guy.
from playing.
I've sat down, tried to write lyrics or poem stuff. It's like
tough.
Some actually, like
it's
I've
tough
done
to
some.
express yourself in
it's
words
good.
sometimes. You know?
Yeah. I'm not a words guy.
Yeah.
As I say in a very not words guy way.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
This is the guy who sings.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's like,
literally.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards, I was like, maybe the singer does the lyrics, but not always, man. Not always,
Yeah, so
you've got to save all that energy for the stage, man.
Yeah, exactly.
All that expression for the stage.
Yeah, like the one thing about singing lyrics that you didn't write is like, you can't just sing the words that are written on the page. It's like it goes deeper than that. You got to like feel them.
Well, that's what I mean.
Express them and express them in even like the way you enunciate the words or the way you're going to take go up and down. I don't know, just the way you're going to just play with the melody
what I
on
wondered,
it, right?
where if you like change like the phrasing or even change words to like phrasing and stuff.
No, I will. Because sometimes I'm like, oh, this ain't. This
I
me,
got you.
You say
make me silly, make me giddy.
Yeah.
So that was.
You say like it's funny though because sometimes Patrick's not much of a lyric writer, but when he's just like letting it rip, sometimes really good stuff comes out. Like in our latest single, Seasons Change. we have this section, like I guess it's like a bridge section thing where he's kind of like vamping and like saying like lyrics and stuff. And originally we had been like, oh, it'd be really cool if Pat, because Pat also is a great trumpet player. It'd be great if Pat played trumpet on here.
Sick.
And so we're in practice going, we're like, okay, Pat, why don't you just vamp in the section like what you do on a trumpet melody? Mm-hmm. And then
with the idea, I'd come back, match it.
Yeah. And then he vamps like words to go with the melody as he's doing it, and like filler stuff. And they're super good, and like they're super like on topic, and like kind of just honestly, it makes it great. And so then that's kind of what we got in the final thing, or like Pat's lyrics from just like vamping top of the head. Which so sometimes you just gotta let it happen.
Sometimes
you gotta get out your own way.
No, and I've been getting better with that too. But but I love melodies. Like I love writing melodies.
Yeah, Pat's our arranger, I always say.
Yeah, man.
He's a lot of times when we're doing like recording stuff, it'll be like we'll be like sitting down together, and Pat will like be sitting at a piano going like, what if we play like a harmony like this? And starts playing like, it's like, oh, what if we like put a third on top?
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, that's what we see here though, is the magic of like bands in studios. It's like a magic that happens, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that creative space to kind of explore, right? And it's same with like a rehearsal room, and it's probably that's the best thing with like, if you guys have got like a tight knit band that's all from Rexford Drive.
Yeah.
Best name ever. It's sick to like get together and just let those ideas flow, right? And let everybody express it, in their own way. And the fact that you just said like throw a trumpet solo in there. That's fucking cool for an indie band. And I love
we jam sometimes live with the trumpet.
And I love this is what I love that like brass is coming into indie music. It's like I was saying that like the Lost Faculty guys, they had a bit of a Sam Fender sort of sound who uses quite brass and stuff. And I love that like it's getting normalized to just throw a sax solo in there like Bruce Springsteen might have done at one point.
Yeah, I feel like the 1975 really brought that back.
Yeah, and those guys too.
Yeah, like with those like very Springsteen solos and like Bleachers, Jack Antonoff stuff.
Yeah,
like all that has got
exactly.
These, very riffing sax solos.
Yeah, man, I'm so into Jack Antonoff at the minute. His pop production is what I'm really loving at the minute. It's super.
Oh yeah,
so cool.
Yeah, man, clever guy.
He's touched everything, and I didn't even know he used to be in Fun.
Yeah, really?
You didn't know that? So he was the guitar player of Fun.
He was like the fun. He was the genius who wasn't singing.
It looks like him now that you remember that. It's him.
Now that you see it, now it's totally him.
He was in Fun, and so he was like the producer mastermind.
What a wild world we live in, guys.
Yeah, because a lot of people were surprised because the singer of Fun,
Nate, whatever his name is.
Like he's went on and done other things, and they're okay, they're fine. Like
they were,
but like it wasn't.
You heard
Fun.
it on the radio all the time, right?
Right.
Fun had that one album. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I still listen to those songs like "Carry On" or like what was the big one?
We Are Young.
What's the one with the snare rolls and stuff? Miss my mom and dad for this.
I just think of Some Nights.
Some Nights is the one. Some Nights.
I thought you already said Some Nights.
I said no. So like those songs are like amazing.
Yeah.
So
great
good.
Pop song. Great pop music for sure.
That's one of those bands that I wish they never broke up.
Anyone can like that. Like,
yeah, that's it.
You write him for the masses,
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's what Jack Antonoff does.
Yeah, he's a smart guy, man. Yeah, I've been looking a lot into him. I just love his production on Sabrina Carpenter's stuff at the minute.
Is he doing that stuff?
Yeah, man, he produced a lot of her stuff and like Taylor's.
I know he does stuff with Taylor. He just
man, he's a clever dude for sure. Yeah. So you mentioned your single, which is not like what was the working title?
Main Focus,
now known as Seasons Change.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
When I need to get it out of my vocabulary,
it's a cool story, man. I love it. Another cool story.
We still run Main Focus on the set list, right?
Yeah. So that's out now, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's out. So go stream it on iTunes, Spotify. There'll be a link somewhere around that you can check it out, guys. What's the context of Seasons Change? Is it because it's friggin' freezing in Canada now?
No, so I mean, like that one was a bit of an older song.
Okay.
So not super old, but I guess by the time it was out, it was written
a while
3 years before, kind of thing.
Because I had it on my phone, and it was like in the music app. The voice memo was sitting in my phone for like 2 years. I'm like, we have to do something with this.
Yeah. So the song itself came from, I really liked that intro guitar part. So like me personally, before I guess it like comes to the band, I usually have something on guitar that I like something that I just like, oh, that was cool. Even if it's like not like complicated, it's not really riffy. I don't really do riffs very often, but like a cool chord progression or something that's like, pleasing. And so I had that like kind of chord progression thing. And, and then I had I'd written basically like a whole chord progression, like an A section, B section thing that I really liked. And I just was sitting on it for a while. And then, I don't know, just sometimes like I usually will like, while I'm going about my day or something, I'll have like a lyric that like pops into my head for whatever reason. And I'll write it down and I'll kind of keep those in like a folder. Usually it's like 2 lines, 1 line. Yeah. And then sometimes I'll like kind of, feel compelled for whatever reason to write something. And then it'll be like, okay, I have like these like 3 lines. And then I'll be like, I think that'll work on that.
That's it. Yeah, that's a cool way to write.
And so then it'll put it together and then usually hash it out from usually the first line of the song, because then you kind of just go like linear. Usually it's linear from start to finish.
Yeah. Man, it's so tough to write songs though sometimes, right? It's kind of like
complete writer's block.
Yeah, and then you start writing things, and then you just overthink it, and then you just think, oh my god, what am I actually talking about here?
Yeah.
Or you start thinking, you realize it sounds like another song, or one line does. Now you can't get that other song out of your head.
That's where overthink. That's where you got to not overthink. I think, right? So many songs are just like copies of.
Sometimes
like in elementary school we wrote "Boyfriend" by Justin Bieber. We didn't realize we copied the melody. Our first song we ever wrote together, and like
nice.
Yeah. So I guess So speaking of that whole like, what am I talking about kind of thing?
Yeah.
That was one of the ones where I used to really like kind of stick to a theme type of thing. When I was writing, like, this is what this is going to be about, like when I'm going line by line. But this was one of the first times that I didn't do that. And I kind of just like wrote from one line to the next. I was listening to a lot of like Phoebe Bridgers at the time. That actually, I guess puts that dates it. Punisher just came out her second album. So I was listening to a lot of that, and I was really liking the way her lyrics were like kind of random, but all kind of coalesced into like a feeling. Yeah. And so I was kind of just like letting it happen. And I mean, I didn't really know what it meant at the time. But I was like, it made me feel something. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And so, and then, like looking back on it now, it's like, and I find this a lot because since then I've done that more often. And I find now that when I look back after it's been, a little bit of time passes. Yeah. I go like, oh, yeah, this makes total sense.
Yeah.
This is what I was going through at the time.
Yeah.
Or like, it's like, wow, I knew this thing.
Yeah.
I knew this thing before I like actually knew this thing. Yeah, like I remember like at that time, like there was all this, like when I think about the song now, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's totally about all these things that like was bothering me at the time, but didn't actually start bothering me until a few months after I'd written the song.
Gotcha,
it's like the subconscious.
Yeah, it's like this
is like manifesting itself through the song.
Yeah, which I find
crazy, right? It's songwriting, man. It's a strange. Yeah, it's a strange process, and I think everybody has a different relationship with it, right? It's kind of some weird wizardry that goes on, right?
Yeah, I know. And sometimes I find like usually it's like I don't know what happens. It's like for me, it's like, sometimes I'll just like kind of feel, I'll feel a song coming on type of thing where it's like, it might be like the last 2 days I was feeling like particularly like creative or whatever. And then something will come out very unexpectedly. And then, then nothing will happen for a while. And then something just kind of like pops out.
Yeah.
It always happens very fast when it's good.
Yeah, it's so true, man.
You get hyped and you just want to keep working on it.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
Just excited about what it's going to become.
Yeah, man. It's the magic. It's the frustration of it, but it's also the magic of music, right?
Especially when you have something that's like really good, and but you just don't know how to finish it. I think that's something.
That's
like
the worst.
That's what you come to studios for.
Sick. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude.
And actually, we had our first real opportunity to really get creative in the studio.
Yeah.
I mean, we recorded our first 2 singles at George's Student House, actually.
Yeah. And the other one was recorded at Threshold Studio.
Threshold,
right?
yeah.
We just interviewed Mike last week. So
Mike's
can't wait to share that.
Yeah, Mike's awesome.
Yeah,
Mike,
Mike's the man.
I remember when we were first kind of shopping around to like do studios and stuff. Like obviously we had like we didn't have the biggest budget in the world, but also like the places we were going, like it was cool, but it just didn't. We're like, you know. And then we hung out with Mike for the first time, and like we met him, and he like, hey, what's up? And he just like felt so right, especially for us.
Yeah, man.
He's just like that, like just like, you know, he's like been around. He's like older than us, like very much like we can like trust him.
Yeah.
And he's like, what I liked about him, and I still like about him a lot, is that he'll, you know, like I don't need someone to like not influence me. I don't need someone to strong arm me into making a decision.
Yeah.
But he'll tell me what he thinks.
Yeah.
And then he'll be like, this is what I think. You do what you want.
Maybe try. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know, or it's like, you know, we're like sitting like, flip flopping about stuff. And he's just kind of like, or, you know, he'll be like, I need someone to say like, you know, that delay sounds weird. Yeah. I don't need someone to,
exactly,
you know, and if I disagree, then I'll disagree with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you like, if you say that, like, I'm going to take stock of that. But like so many people like kind of just want to like tell you it's great.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want you to tell me it's great.
Yeah. Totally.
And I think at every point, every time we've worked with Mike, he's always sees our vision or like even like expands our vision. Really. Of what we thought the song was going to be.
Yeah, that's totally what you need, man. And that's, you know, essentially that's why you work with like a studio producer and engineer or whatever to try and, because it's always magic, right? What somebody else can collaborate with, somebody can show you something that you didn't even know existed in a song.
Yeah, 100%.
Or take you in a total different direction that you love that you'd have never gone down on your own, right?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And we're sitting down working on these songs.
Yeah.
Like, because we hadn't done a song completely in the studio yet.
Yeah.
And so for Seasons Change and now for Dreamer, which is actually coming out on the 11th, but we'll talk more about that after on January 11th. For that song, we did the drums all one day. Yeah. And then we're like, okay, we're going to take one day at a time to finish each song. So we were able to take the time with Dreamer, like figure out, actually for Seasons Change, that was a big part. That guitar part at that during the bridge and stuff like that, like
the vamp section,
the vamp section, the guitar part. That was kind of, we figured that out on the spot, right?
Yeah, that was cool. We were like, originally I just like was playing chords, thing, and then Mike had busted out the Space Echo, which I've never used before.
Yeah, baby.
And I was
Space Echo.
It was so cool. He's got like a real big.
Yeah, that's dope, right? Yeah.
And so that was there, which was already so exciting. Yeah. And so I was like playing through that. And actually, so we have it on video. Maybe we'll put it out sometime. But our buddy, our photographer, is basically our photographer. He's like shoots for everything. His name's Andrew Reese. What? Amazing photographer.
Yes, I've seen him on Instagram. Yeah.
So Andrew, we met him like last year, and ever since he's like does like all of our stuff. Great. Yeah, he's a buddy now. Like we hang out with him all the time. Yeah. And so he was there that day, and so we actually like filmed a lot of that stuff. And then you can see on film, which by the way, props to him. He was like watching those videos. He has like got a camera in my face. I didn't even know he was there. I don't know. He's like got that photographer thing.
A good photographer.
Yeah. So especially in the studio.
Blend in plain sight. Yeah. Like
he got the seal of approval from Mike.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Seal of approval from Mike. Mike said, I didn't know he was there, which is a great thing to hear from an old head producer.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Totally. So anyways, like so it was like you can see that on the video of me like sitting with, I forget how we started talking about like how like what to do, but we're kind of, I think Rocco, our bass player, had suggested that like why don't you do some kind of lead line in the bridge, and we were like messing around for a while, and then I think on video you can see me go, what if I did like the Cure thing? I did like a mock of like just like having like the and then like with the delays cascading though, I started going just kind of like alternating on like an open string, and then it was super cool. But like there was a lot of messing around with that for like a while,
we knew
and
that
then
there was something there for that idea.
Yeah, totally, man. You know, and that's and again, like I said, that's the magic of having a studio and just like forgetting about the outside world for a bit and just freaking digging into what's there, right? You know,
especially because you're not like, it's different when you can just play the song over and over and get the part right. It's not the same thing of you doing that in practice where it's like, okay, let's just press play. You got to jam the song every time and try something different, right?
And again, many times when we do interviews with artists and producers here, you know, studio is very different to like you know a part you've really got to like fine tune parts and stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's going on a record, you're gonna hear it for the rest of your life. So
and you think you're ready,
and
then you get to the studio and you hear and you record everything, and it's like, oh, like that way we've done the song for like however long actually doesn't sound as quite good as we. Quite as good as we thought.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing, especially like young bands. Sometimes it's amazing how like tight they think they sound, and then they listen to themselves back, and they're like, "Oh my god, actually, we need to tighten up a bit." You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a big one
because it's a total different way of playing, right? You know,
yeah, I'm glad. Like I got into like home recording stuff during the pandemic. Which was a great thing to get on my system. Asset, I got rid of my red light syndrome during the pandemic, which was nice because. It's like, you know, when we hit recording, like when you hit record, you like kind of get like nervous. Like you can't play anymore kind of thing. Yeah. But for us, I always find like every time we've recorded stuff, it always happens with something in the song where there's something we like think is great. Usually something we really like. And then we like first time we like kind of like put all the faders up and like listen to it, we're like, oh, that's really weird.
Yeah.
Like that lead part or like whatever. It's like, or that usually it's like a rhythm part that seems cool. It's like, that's like fighting with everything. That's like annoying me. Like, please. And then like usually, like that kind of stuff that honestly, a lot of times it'll work live.
Yeah.
And like,
that's the thing. Live's a lot more forgiving, right? You know,
I know, but
you don't hear it back.
Yeah.
You just do it, and same with band practice. You don't hear it back. You just play, and you're like, that sounded good to me. You can only catch so much on voice memos.
Exactly.
Like we record ourselves, and you can notice like little things, but when it comes to that, just that tightness and you know, I mean, I think it's why so many people like quantize these days. It's really hard to sound, you know, so like perfect.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. It's and it's a thing these days, like I say, with stuff like quantization, where it's just so much more forgiving, so it kind of stops people from like being as tight because they think, oh well, we can just
quantize.
I mean, actually, so we were so new when we. So the first song I ever like mixed or anything or recorded, the first time I ever recorded drums or anything was our first single.
Yeah.
So
those drums are raw.
I was very vanilla into all of that, and so actually the first two singles of our like the old like Rick Beatos of the world. He's gonna love this, but there's no that I didn't know how to edit on that, there's only takes places. Which honestly,
but it's a great learning curve.
It went out okay, but
exactly. You know, nobody's I mean, some people's first record make or break their career, I guess. But you know, it's it's a total learning curve. And I think what tends to happen, George, a lot of the time is that people like totally like underestimate like how much goes into like, you know, recording and engineering, producing. You know, I think especially you see it with people sometimes, you know, like coming through the studio, man, where it's like. I think people don't realize how much goes into like making a song, the product, you know?
100%.
Yeah, no, totally.
People say to me, they think we just like I've talked to people and they think that we just like you know, hit record. And,
exactly.
It's like, oh, there you go. Like you just play the song and then
man.
It's like maybe a couple of fader adjustments let's adjust the bass and treble.
Exactly. We get it like with
the car EQ.
Turn
the bass up.
Exactly. It's like people sometimes, man, you can spend like 3 hours just micing a drum kit up to make it sound good. Do you know what I mean? Which is it's a you know, if you want quality recording, I guess, you know, it's but what a learning curve, man. And like I said, going into the studio, that only is going to be frigging great, man, for like, you know, even just, again, lashing down ideas and getting creative, right? Because again, I imagine it's a total another way for you to write as well, just being able to record yourself and you know, layer things. And such, right? You know?
Yeah, I do that like sometimes at home. Like I still like if I'm like really trying to like, if on the odd time like there's something in my head, like I'm like, okay, like this is kind of the vibe I'm hearing. I'll like do that, which is a nice way to like get an approximation of like if this thing is good. The test is always like probably a good song if I can like throw up like a very normal like just a normal like 2/4 backbeat.
Yeah, gotcha.
And like play the root notes on the bass.
Yeah.
And like just like a very basic rhythm guitar. Yeah. And if it's like not like parts, like just like a drum loop root notes on the bass. And it's like, if this is sounding really good, this
That's
is probably...
it.
You can just like playing around in GarageBand.
Yeah,
You can really have GarageBand on your phone. I made a ringtone for my phone, like an alarm, like a nice one, just like with
Everybody
GarageBand.
download Pat's ringtone.
I should post it. I should
You'll
sell
be
it.
like in Jackson Square and somebody's like phone.
Just hear it.
Yeah. That's sick.
That'd be crazy.
Love it.
It's just part of our brand. Yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah.
It's one of those things. About
Rexford Drive.
We are Rex.
Should be writing jingles, man. That's the thing.
Oh, like
jingles.
Charlie Harper.
Yeah.
2.5 Men.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like, jingle writer. Mind you, that was people made like livings writing jingles. There's a guy, I saw a documentary about it.
Yeah.
I don't remember who, but he wrote like tons of famous jingles.
Yeah.
There's a company actually. They do the "We Are Farmers," and they've got like a bunch, all the same company.
Yeah, man.
And they're jingle writing company. That's what they do. They're marketing and they just write jingles.
That's some
Get on
wild thing.
Fiverr.
That's it.
All right.
Fiverr's a lifesaver, man.
There you go.
Yeah. So fellas, we talked about a little bit what's singles out, but what's coming up? We got any shows coming up? We got any singles coming up? I'm trying to lay some corn here for you to pick up and eat.
Yeah, of course.
Well, Daniel.
Yeah, well, Daniel. Hey, we're on Sunday names. I love it. Let's roll.
We recorded we have a single called Dreamer, which if you've come to our live shows, you know it's one of our favorite songs to either open the show or like inject energy back into the set after a couple of ballads.
We start basically every practice with it.
It's our and so it's
a fun song.
Yeah,
it's one of our favorites. It's super fun, and so we did that at Threshold Recording Studio in Hamilton with Mike. So that's coming out in. I don't know, like we have to like submit it like literally like
I got you. Yeah.
it should be submitted very soon.
Yeah.
Actually, we're waiting for Mike because we just need him to shave off 3 seconds of silence at the end. Okay. And then it's done. Everything else, art's done and everything.
Did somebody play a buff note at the end or something? Is that
No, it's like there's just too much dead
silence.
silence.
All right, I got you.
Spotify said no thanks.
Yeah,
too much dead silence.
It's so specific, right? With stuff,
And we tried cutting off the space ourselves, but then it was like, the quality is wrong. Like they wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
And so we gotta get that done. But everything else is like set. Album art, like and like it's literally ready. All it is upload and press submit. Everything else is
still coming soon.
Yeah, it should probably be out, I would say, before at least latest the 11th. Could be before the 11th.
There you go. Mark your calendars. I hope this goes out before the 11th. If not,
of January.
Oh, right.
Not December.
It'll be out. Yeah, it'll totally be out. I was gonna say, I was like, whoa, boys.
We haven't submitted and it's like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, it'll definitely be out. So make sure you pre-save it or do whatever you're gonna do to check it out. And that's called. Sorry, what was the name of it?
Called Dreamer. So that's actually a song from
like
very earlier we were talking.
Anthemic.
Yeah, it is. Earlier we were talking about when we became a band and we wanted to play at the Battle of the Bands. We wrote like a quick batch of songs.
Yeah.
So that's actually from that batch.
God.
So we've been playing it for.
Cool. So that's an old but goldie.
Yeah. So we have a lot of new. Like we have like more than a set and a half worth of original music.
Sick.
Like we got a lot of original songs, but the problem is that like. We got some like staples that have not been put out just because of resource constraints.
And like we're excited. I like that word. It's very HR. You can tell this guy's going into. You can tell this guy's going into HR one day.
Yeah.
This man's studying to be head of HR.
Yeah, love it.
But so we have like what actually this batch of songs is to kind of rid us of like rid us. It sounds very negative, but like get our like first batch of stuff out.
Yeah, totally. That's
I mean, Seasons Change was a outlier of that. That one came along later, but we all just really liked it.
Yeah.
But then like we had this thing where we had this like monkey on our back of like there's these songs that like people like really like.
Yeah.
Like people always say like, oh, I love that one. Yeah. And we love them too. And we still play them all the time. And we play them at our shows like constantly. And so the people who've been coming to our shows for a long time like know them now. And but they haven't been out. So it was always this like weird like picking your favorite kid type of thing.
Yeah, I got you.
Where it's like, okay, let's just like put these out so then we can focus on our new stuff.
Yeah.
So
and if you've got like all these songs, man, you've got that's some people struggle to write the songs in the friggin' first place, man, So
so we have like I guess an album and a half worth of material probably if we put out everything,
Yeah.
But so we're just kind of getting things out. We have like,
Great.
but we kind of wanted to do earlier. We put like our 2 singles, then an EP, because we kind of wanted like a body of work out.
Yeah.
Like to have like not just an EP, like, you know, we have like 6, maybe 7 songs out now.
Yeah.
And so like people can get a feel for us.
Yeah.
And so now we're probably going to do singles because it's more economic.
Of course, yeah. It's tough being a band in 2024, man.
And we want people to like hear everything, you know?
Yeah.
Like we want everything. Like we love all these songs, and so we want people to get to appreciate each one.
Yeah,
along the way.
Exactly.
And so so that'll be out relatively soon, and then stay tuned for the second half of the bunch.
Stoked.
Which will probably come out sometime
or next year, like
probably
2020.
the next 2 will be out in 2025.
Yeah.
Maybe very, very early 26, which is crazy to plan that far out. But
yeah. So it's going to be like a single a month or something. That's what we're expecting now.
No. A single biannually.
If we could, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
because even our last EP, those were all songs that we were really like. I mean, I love those songs.
Yeah.
But at the time, they were pretty new still, and like relatively. And we had all these old songs that we wanted to record too, but. You know, these were what we were excited for.
Yeah,
you know, right?
Totally.
But we're really excited for these ones.
Yeah.
These
the EP had relatively newer songs as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we're kind of like putting these singles, this next batch of singles after Seasons Change. So this coming up one, Dreamer. And then the next 2, which there's a song called sorry, I almost burped into your mic.
Oh, do it, mate. There's probably 1,000 people doing it before you.
Yeah, but I don't want to burp into someone's AirPods.
Yeah.
Walking to get coffee.
Man,
Sunday's ruined.
This is a personal show. I'm going to do an ASMR version one day or something, you know, just like. Yeah.
So we have some songs coming out after. So we have some. So once you hear Dreamer, the next 2 songs, one's called Broken, which is the very first song we ever wrote.
Nice.
Back in high school.
Okay.
That'll be out.
That's a biggie then.
That's my favorite.
That one did was surprisingly good for a first song.
Yeah.
And then we have a song called Take a Bow, which is not as new, but it's relatively not as old, but relatively old now considering. And it's we really like that one too. That was little inside baseball. I was really loving the song You Don't Know How It Feels by Tom Petty.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, it's just like 2 chords the whole time. I'm like, this is great. And so I remember I got like a little. I had bought like a little like drum machine, little like chord polka beats thing.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of put in that drum pattern.
I got you
on it and was like, oh, this is so cool. And then I basically did my take on You Don't Know How It Feels, which is Take a Bow.
Yeah.
Which once you hear that, you can kind of hear the same thing. But you know,
but it is a different vibe. Than,
it
became, you know, it evolved and it became a thing.
Pat's worried about the lawyers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No lawyers watch this. It's all good. They're all blocked. Anyway. So yeah, that's exciting, man. That's exciting. So you know, like I just think, you know, sometimes it's just. I find it so hard even just to write songs sometimes, you know. So when I hear bands like yourself like coming out and you've got like, oh, we've got that many songs that we want to get out, but we've just not got to record it and stuff or whatever, you know. It's magic to see, you know. It's magic to see. Yeah, it's so young still, and you've been a band 10 years, man. You know.
Yeah,
you could be on record for like Hamilton's like longest running band if you all stay friends for like.
Maybe
50 years or
exactly.
I think, and
we'll be playing the Cat and Fiddle.
Yeah, dude.
Well, because it's cool because we're a band, but we're like brothers. Really.
Yeah.
Like we were friends before this, and you know,
and we hang out outside of this.
Like this guy lives around the corner. Grew up around the corner from me. From my bedroom window, I see his house.
Yeah. So what's like top 3 artists or songs on Spotify that you listen to at the minute?
Currently,
right now?
Yeah.
I don't have Spotify.
And don't lie either. If you're listening to ABBA all the time, I want to hear about it. Okay.
Well, okay. Let me think. What did I listen to today? This is like, I mean, I'm like just starting to dip my toe into like Grateful Dead.
Gotcha.
So that's happening a little bit right now.
Nice.
But on the other end of things, what have I been listening to today?
What about you?
Pull up the on repeat.
Oh, I've been really actually. I'm taking a French class right now.
Nice.
And so I've been trying to listen. Yeah, it's one of my electives.
Cool.
And so I've been listening to French music a little bit.
Me too, man. I'm trying to learn French because it's one way to get more points to stay in Canada. Yeah.
So it was good for my pronunciation.
There's some good stuff, man. There's some good like French pop music out there.
Yeah, and so I
had some francophone like Quebec stuff.
Yeah,
really
Mm-hmm. I haven't listened to too much like pop stuff, but like I found out that like My Way by Frank Sinatra is originally a French song.
Yeah.
So like Comme d'habitude.
Yeah.
That's a banger.
There you go, man. There you go.
No, I guess what else have I been listening to? Pat, why don't you do your thing?
Yeah, what have you been listening
We'll just
to,
pull
Pat?
up your...
I just want to check.
No, just open your history.
I see Jackson Brown there,
Oh,
man.
history?
Open the history.
Yeah, a little bit of Jackson Brown.
I love Jackson Brown, man. Somebody's Baby. That's a
So good. My dad, I only know about him because my father was like, oh yeah, I used to look like Jackson Brown.
Yeah.
You still look like
random.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you see the history?
If you pull up there, right down the bottom, right?
There?
And you pull up downwards.
pull up?
There's what you've been listening to.
Yeah, like Michael McDonald. Like
love that.
a lot of Arctic Monkeys.
Okay, yeah.
Rex Orange County's new album. I like it.
Nice.
It's cool. Chapel Roan, of course.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Real Mix. Oh,
The Bugles. I saw the Bugles video. Killed the radio star.
So good.
What a
So
banger.
there's another version of that song.
Yeah.
With the guy, I forget the name, so I'm gonna stop talking about it. But there's a cool, weird version, like alternate version by the guy who wrote it. But anyways,
sick.
one thing I'm getting into, like the Charlie Brown Christmas music. I know it's a little early, but I can't help it. Like I love like jazz, and I love that album so much.
Yeah.
And I'm just like dipping my toes a little, but I don't want to ruin it for myself. You know.
don't.
Last year I was playing like on Halloween.
Fitzgerald,
I'm playing like Wonderful Christmas Time by Paul McCartney, blasting.
I
It's
hate
like
that song.
November 1st.
I hate that song.
So good.
It's my least
though.
favorite Christmas
It's quite
song.
a boring Christmas tune.
That's just, you don't like his.
I don't like the splatty synths.
That's just because Fantano said it.
Yeah, but no, I agreed with him that time.
No, I see what he's saying, but I like.
Nothing happens in that
Yeah,
song.
that's my bad. It's like one light. It's like one.
Except
it
it's like
is.
cascading like synth thing in
it's
the
like
chorus.
a demo.
It sounds
it's
like
like
you're
a
like
demo. Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good point, but I think it's just catchy.
Yeah.
Like it's
very
just like
catchy.
a.
So it would
it's
have
a
been great if you
decent-
put some drums on it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you, just put a little kick drum, please.
We were expecting more from a Beatle, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know. Well, the thing about
He's
Paul
got
McCartney
nothing to
is,
prove, yeah.
it's like, Sometimes he's, I don't know. Sometimes people release really good stuff.
Yeah.
Even like
You don't
in the past few
say.
years.
No way. Paul
sometimes-
McCartney put out some good
Yeah,
stuff.
I
Eh?
know.
Sometimes though, it's like, I don't know.
Did you like the last Beatles song Now and Then?
It was okay.
It was cool.
It
was
You
cool.
don't sound convinced, gentlemen. You
No,
don't
it
sound
wasn't. I
convinced.
listened to it twice.
Okay,
Much
that's
as
a solid. I hate it.
no, I didn't hate it, but like there's those songs where you listen to them and you like them and then you never listen to them.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
And then there's the songs you seek out to hear again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I tried to like it. Like I listened to it over and over again. And I'm like a massive Beatles fan.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think it was too. I don't know. There was something like
50
kind of
years-
a little
probably 50
corporate about
years
it too. There wasn't organic enough. I feel like, and
got
that's
you.
crazy to say because
I
it's
got
like
you.
they're expanding on a really
Yeah.
good John demo
And
that I
the-
think was really good.
Yeah, and the
But
AI stuff that went off with it.
It was
kinda cool, though. I
what
was
they
like-
did.
I
really
thought-
cool.
I actually, speaking of like those kinds of songs though, have you ever heard like it's from like the Beatles anthology? Have you ever heard of Real Love? The song Real Love?
I don't. I might have heard it.
So- That's a
great
Beatles
song.
stuff. It's usually I've heard it, but it's
Oh.
like so
Wait,
many of
Pat-
them.
For
Yeah.
Now and Then, there were 3 songs, I think,
Right.
that 3 demos that they were gonna try and tackle, or
Yeah.
maybe it was more than that, but they had nailed it down to 3.
Got you.
Now and Then, what's that other one called?
Free Like a Bird.
Free Like a Bird.
Free like
Yeah,
a
and Real Love.
Right. Okay.
So they did Free Like a Bird, and they did Real Love, but Now and Then was too
Right.
like damaged that they couldn't get it done. And the that's why they
see.
used the AI to finish Now and Then, which they had been given 40 years
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
in whenever. In the
Yeah.
90s.
So it was like what happened with Real Love anthology songs. And yeah. So basically, like John from like right before he died, I guess, had like some cassettes of some new songs he was working on. And then so there's like a really bad recordings of him playing piano and singing. And so yeah, back in like they put him out with the anthology stuff. Real Love is amazing. So it's like in the 90s. So
Right,
George Harrison was
okay.
still alive too.
Yeah.
So like they went into the studio and like finished that.
Right.
And that one's amazing. That song is
I'll have to listen to this. Why have
It's
I never heard
really-
it?
it's so good because like John's voice is all weird. You can tell it's
Yeah.
like all degraded from tape. And
Yeah.
but the piano
in a John way.
and
Yeah,
the piano
yeah.
sounds weird too. But like it's this hi-fi all around it, and it's like, oh, that like sounds like unmistakably Ringo. There's like slide George Harrison parts,
Yeah.
and it's like all just so like awesome. Yeah. And it's such a John Lennon song too, because it's all like about like very positive. It's very like in the vein of Imagine. Yeah. And so it's like all just like,
but at the same time, it's very much a John song. I think at the same time, it's like something the Beatles totally could have done in like their very late years. Like it sounds like a John song for sure. It's unmistakably a John song.
But it sounds like a Beatles song.
It sounds like
which is what's cool.
A Beatles song too. Yeah.
Well, I guess this is how when you John Lennon, you have the Beatles finish it.
Here I am like ripping on Paul.
Hey man.
Like, oh yeah, John. He's like,
no.
So we kind of did some questionable things.
Everybody's got their favorite Beatle, right? Everybody's got
Pete
their
Best.
favorite Beatle. Yeah. Pete, poor Pete. Bless him.
You know what, Pat? Do you want to tell your interesting Pete Best fact?
Yeah, I was I was gonna tell it, but I forgot it. Could you tell it?
Are you serious?
It's your my dad or my
your
aunt.
aunt's sister.
My dad's friend.
I think it's on your family.
My dad's friend's mother lived or used to hang out with the Beatles and dated. I think dated Pete Best.
Yeah,
right. Is that the story?
I don't think so at all.
Okay, maybe not.
Are you related to John Lennon? Is this what you're trying to tell us?
Nah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I mean, my family
you look more like
back
Ringo.
to Scotland. So
But yeah, and
wish I knew.
To answer the one I was forgetting about your music, the band from Vancouver, Peach Pit, just put out a new record, and it's amazing.
I'll have to check
you heard of Peach?
No.
So Peach Pit they're from Vancouver, and there are so many people. I don't know. This is one of those things that I don't know why they're not bigger, because it feels like every band I talk to in Canada knows them and adores them.
Okay.
And like a lot of people in like our age at like university who are like into more like I guess like indie bands and stuff adore them as well. Like last time they were, History, like the venue in Toronto.
No.
Okay, so it's like the big,
I don't ventured into Toronto much.
It's like the one below arenas.
Okay,
it's like big, like probably over. I don't know. It's
owned by
a big club.
Drake,
gotcha.
Right?
It's a big club.
Right.
Like big bands come through here, and they sold that out. And so now they're huge, but for some reason they get no love from Canadian media. Like they're never on like the CBC.
It's a weird old world out there for music, right? Some people who are like got their own like organic fan base just don't always hit with that big media, which in a way is not necessarily a bad thing,
Yeah.
I think it's all about. I don't know. Well, because they did play the CBC Music Festival.
Yeah,
it's
to
true.
Be fair,
but you don't hear about them ever. Like you don't hear about them the way that like I would say
a big
objectively,
people in the US know who they are.
They're objectively one of the bigger bands in Canada. If you are not looking within like just fan bases internationally.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a couple of bands like that like for some reason Canada doesn't really like co-sign, but they're Canadian. Like Mac DeMarco's like that. Mac DeMarco's Canadian, but like you never really hear about him as like a Canadian icon.
Unless you're in the indie scene, then you hear about him. But
I imagine
maybe not as much these days.
I guess a lot of these just get stolen by America, right? America just steals all these good acts away, and then they just become like, I'm sure at one point everybody used to think Neil Young and Joni Mitchell were American, but they're not. They're Canadian.
Neil Young's from a couple hours from here.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, the band, like
the band, the band,
the band all grew up around here. Yeah,
Hamiltonians. Yeah,
they're not. They're not Hamiltonians, but like so. I'm like the band.
This guy.
I always have to like clarify to people like I'm a big fan of the band.
The band, yeah. It's always
the band's the band.
Yeah,
but like I got really into it. But yeah, like so like their bass player is from like the country out this way, Turkey Point, which is like 40 minutes that way.
Yeah.
Their piano player is from Stratford, which is like hour and a half.
Isn't it Robbie Robertson that's from Hamilton?
Robbie Robertson's from close to Hamilton. So he's from Scarborough, but he's like. I think he's half Jewish, half indigenous.
Right.
So he spent his summers on the reserve over here.
I gotcha. Okay.
So like, so he'd come here. Apparently that's where he learned to play guitar, was on the reserve.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why he's like kind of from around here. But they would like, when they were still a backing band for like
Bob Dylan,
No, before that for Ronnie Hawkins.
Yeah, Ronnie Hawkins.
They would play around here a lot.
Yeah,
and like sometimes you hear little references in their songs, like their big album Big Pink.
Yeah.
They have a song called the Caledonia Mission. Caledonia is like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And so like just little stuff like that.
Yeah,
remember
cool.
the guy we met at that jazz bar? He was like, he said he'd played with Robbie Robertson like around here in Toronto or something.
Is he an old guy?
Man, I can imagine. I've heard a lot of stories about the band. Like, I've heard
they were around. Yeah. Like,
so it's where it all started, man. How people put,
but they're
people
Americana,
put the hammer down. Yeah, that's it. I
So
know.
funny.
Yeah, that's
Right?
it.
they're like
Americana,
progenitors of
but they're
Americana.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, they're literally from here.
Totally, and but it spreads out, even all over the world now. Americana and I love it because it's Americana's totally different to country, right? It's not like that.
It's got its own.
It's got its own thing, which is super cool. So we've got a new single coming out, guys, and you're also doing a show. You said you're doing a show soon, right?
Yeah, so we're gonna be playing. No, not so. Yeah, we're gonna be playing like next week at
Thirsty
Stonewall.
Thursdays, yeah, it's like a student thing.
So it's more of a student.
So,
we don't really like. We're more like we don't. That's not like a big show.
That's the
for
exclusive one.
That's the exclusive one. That's for the Mac students.
That's for the Mac.
Yeah,
And so, but our next big show in Hamilton's gonna be on January 11th.
Nice.
Right around when our single's dropping.
Sick.
At Corktown upstairs.
Love it.
Corktown upstairs, which is cool. That place has been around forever.
Yeah, man, that's my local Corktown. I mention it on every single pod that we do. I'm like, Corktown's my local.
Yeah,
it's so sick. Hey, it's right down the street, right?
Yeah,
do you live
man.
right by here?
Yeah,
Well, I
not
guess we
too
shouldn't
far.
expose where
I'm not too far. I'm in Hamilton, so not too far from Corktown though. Yeah, so it's my local. I jam at the Irish night there every Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
The K.
There's this cool photo from the 90s. I think it's from 92 or something.
Yeah.
Have you seen this before?
I think is it of all the people that played at the Corktown or something?
It was
It's
all
like
these
a-
different bars. So
it's
it's
like a
got
newspaper.
Corktown, Gown and Gavel,
Right, yeah.
Lazy Flamingo,
Yeah.
all these places, and you have some of these bands here. Like, where is the one? Killjoys.
Yeah.
They played at Corktown again, so they're playing at Corktown in this.
Yeah.
They played at Corktown a few weeks ago.
Oh, right.
Like literally, they're still a band.
There's
Big Sugar.
Yeah.
I also play Corktown.
Yeah.
They're still big. And Rainbow. Where are they? They're somewhere on here. Rainbow Butt Monkeys.
Oh,
playing at
yeah.
X Club. I'm not sure where that is. All ages show. Apparently,
Yeah, man.
But hey, that's Finger 11.
Yeah, right. I see.
That's
I
Finger
got
11.
you. Yeah,
like, literally. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And
They have a cool T-shirt at the Corktown actually that tells you it says before. I think it was before the El Macambo or something. There was the Corktown, and it shows you all these bands on the back. And there's
That's kinda
there's
sick.
all sorts of cool,
Yeah.
amazing bands that have played there, massive bands. Yeah, over the years.
That's
It's
awesome.
it's a solid staple of Hamilton, especially with venues closing down and stuff. You know.
Well, it's gonna be the only one left.
Yes,
Besides
I
Doors
know.
Pub and that.
So we need to do something about it, fellas.
I know.
We've got that one place. Kind of. I think they're becoming a venue. Is the
yes.
Architect?
Behind Architect.
What's it called?
right.
Sunrise? No, not Sunrise. Ring.
Something ring.
Ringworm
Anyways,
or-
I don't know if you were
Ringworm.
Who the fuck would call that?
It's a DIY hardcore spot.
Yeah,
It's a ringworm.
Totally, yeah. Sick.
But no, that place could be cool, but I don't really know what's going on there yet. But so I mean, after Hamilton does need more venues.
Yeah, man. Let's do something about it, fellas. Let's do something about it. We can do something about it.
We will do something about it.
I have faith in especially young bands like yourself, It's
Thanks,
going to
man.
rock it. So, thank you so much for coming down, fellas.
course, man.
This
Thanks
is
for
so
everything.
sick,
Yeah.
just chatting away, getting to know you guys.
Yeah, we've had a great time.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so, for anybody out there, you can watch, you can listen to the streams, you can listen to the music on Apple Music. There'll be links somewhere around in the description, so check it out. And for anybody that's on socials, where can we find you on social?
On Instagram, Rexford Drive Music.
Rexford Drive Music.
That's the place to go, and we're on Spotify, everywhere, Apple Music, anywhere you get your music, and Facebook too. Rexford Drive Music.
So Pat is the salesman of the band. That was delivered perfectly.
Yeah, do our tagline. How do you remember Rexford Drive?
Oh yeah, so we're Rexford Drive. So it's Rex, like a T-Rex, like the dinosaur, and then and then Ford, like the car, and then Drive, like what do you do to a Ford? You drive it. So Rexford Drive. Rexford Drive. Except Rexford, one word, Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You get it. You're smart.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, for sure. So yeah, look out for these guys. Go and see them at their show on January 11th, Corktown. If you're around in Hamilton, go listen to the music. Upstairs in Corktown, very important to remember. You don't want to get kicked out for being in the wrong venue. And yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Tones of the Hammer. We're now on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify Podcasts, we're on YouTube, so you don't miss an episode. Thanks, fellas.
No
Thanks for
problem.
having
Thank
us.
you.
See you on the next episode, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.